Somehow, some way, Broncos country, after starting the season 1-5, after getting shellacked down in Miami 70-20, this team has been able to stay resilient. They've been able to fight, and the Denver Broncos are now back at 500 following a win tonight on Sunday Night Football, 21-20 over the Minnesota Vikings. We are back to a 5-5 record, guys. We have now ripped off 4 straight wins, 2 of which over very unlikely opponents in the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And we ultimately took care of our business today, although it was certainly a game where Broncos country was sweating it out until pretty much the final snap. But we were able to overcome some of our self-inflicted wounds in the early first half, some penalties, some other mistakes, and we were able to stay resilient, stay the course, and we got a win, guys. This is a win that the Nathaniel Hackett Broncos would have never been able to get. We would have flopped over and died last season when the score was 17-9, but this Broncos team never gave up. They believed in themselves. They got a couple of key turnovers down there in the second half, and that was the big difference maker for us. And you should have known that the game was going to end that way, especially after pretty much on the first drive, the defense kind of set the tone for things there with the fumble, with Kareem Jackson forcing it on Josh Dobbs, and then Jaquan McMillan recovering it. Jaquan McMillan responsible for 2 turnovers today, the fumble recovery, and then an interception on Josh Dobbs in the second half. That was a really, really big interception for us. And then another turnover as well with Alexander Madison fumbling the ball and the Broncos recovering. We have now gotten 12 turnovers in the last 3 games, Broncos country. Absolutely nuts. 5 turnovers in the Kansas City game, 4 turnovers in the Buffalo game, and now 3 turnovers here tonight. That really played a big, big part in us getting the win. So if we come over here, guys, and take a look at just the overall theme of the game, obviously Denver got that fumble on the first drive, and unfortunately we were only able to get 3 points out of it. Russell took a sack on second down where nothing was really open. It brought up third down and long. I believe there was also a punt or a penalty that was declined on the on that one as well, the second down play. So just not a great sequence there for Denver. A very similar circumstance after they got the ball back. They went 3 straight drives with a punt, 4 straight drives with a punt. Or no, it was 3 straight drives with a punt. The multiple no, I can't even count. It was 2 straight drives with a punt, and then a field goal, and then another field goal, and then a punt. So, again, guys, the Broncos just with too many self-inflicted wounds. We had Nate Atkins with a holding call. We had couple of other holding calls as well. We had the play in the second half there where Garrett Bowles was lined up to the right side of Mike McGlinchey on the quarterback sneak play, and Bowles covered up McGlinchey and didn't report as an eligible receiver. So that was a really big play that forced Denver to settle for a field goal. That was going to be on this drive right here. But then they, and that one came after the interception, which was just really a big, brutal penalty there for Denver. But ultimately, they were able to force Minnesota to kick their own field goal rather than get a touchdown. That made the score 20-15, and then Denver went down, got that game-winning touchdown. Unfortunately, the 2-point conversion there was no good, but we were able to hold there on downs at the end. Forced them into a 4th down and 25 situation. Josh Dobbs had an intentional grounding, and we held in order to get the win. And that's what good teams do, Broncos country. They're able to find a way to overcome their self-inflicted wounds. We had Jerry Jeudy with a drop touchdown, a killer drop touchdown that Broncos country would not have let him hear the end of if he had not secured that ball. Or if we had not gotten that win, rather. This was just one where a stark difference was between the Nathaniel Hackett Broncos and the Sean Payton Broncos. And tonight is another game that just absolutely proves the Broncos got the coaching right. They've got the coaching hire right with Sean Payton. He is somebody that has completely changed the culture and the dynamic in this building, and we're able to get away from these from these games with ugly wins. That final drive was absolutely key, obviously, with Cortland Sutton, that massive catch in the end zone. Samaje Perine was also a big part on the Denver Broncos' final game-winning drive. He got several receptions on that one. Final stat line on the day for receiving for Samaje, 7 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. I have to imagine that Samaje Perine not too pleased with the way that he's been utilized over the last several weeks. I know I wouldn't be if I'm Samaje Perine. I don't have any inside information on that. That's just kind of my own guessing, but I have to imagine that Perine is a lot more pleased with his role tonight, and he was a key factor on that last drive. And basically, the Denver Broncos utilized their short passing game as kind of their quasi-run game, because I thought Minnesota actually did a good job of loading the box up front and making things difficult for Denver to run, and they kind of did have to abandon the run game, Denver did. You see Javonte with 11 carries, 37 yards, and aside that, Samaje Perine, 1 carry, 7 yards. Jaleel McLaughlin, 1 carry for 1 yard. Russell Wilson, 2 carries, 1 yard. So at the end of the day, Minnesota did a really good job bottling up Denver's run game. And conversely, they kind of ran the ball down our throat a little bit. Alexander Mattison, 18 carries, 81 yards. Ty Chandler, 10 carries, 73 yards. Joshua Dobbs, 8 carries, 21 yards. And the touchdown where he absolutely dove in. It was nuts to see that play there from Josh Dobbs. But Buffalo, I thought, had some relative success against Denver running the ball. They just didn't commit to the ground game for whatever reason. Credit to Kevin O'Connell and the Vikings, because they actually did commit to the ground game, and it kind of gashed us a little bit. So that's something that we're going to have to really improve on next week against the Cleveland Browns, that actually have a comparatively strong run game. QB stat comparisons: Josh Dobbs, 20 for 32, 221 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, also had a fumble, so responsible for 2 turnovers today. Russell Wilson continues to take care of the football, play clean, efficient football, 27 for 35, 7.4 yards per attempt, 259 total yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. QBR of just 32.0, but a passer rating of 106.7. Really strong day on the whole from Russell Wilson, I thought, especially down there on that last drive. He made some key plays that were absolutely critical in us getting that win. Cortland Sutton was awesome. 4 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Couple key catches down the sideline. Obviously, the touchdown catch. Sutton was awesome. We already touched on Samaje. Judy would have had a near-perfect day if he not dropped that touchdown, but still 5 catches for 58 yards. Adam Troutman had a couple of nice plays, 2 catches for 33 yards. So at the end of the day, Broncos country, I strongly feel like our passing game had some nice production. We just couldn't really get out of our own way at times with some of the penalties and other self-inflicted wounds. Guys weren't getting open, just little stuff like that. Leading receiver on the day for Minnesota, TJ Hawkinson, 4 catches for 55 yards. Did a decent enough job on Addison, I thought. 3 catches, 44 yards. One kind of surprise was Josh Oliver, the Vikings' backup tight end, who had 4 catches, 47 yards, and the Vikings' first touchdown on the day. And then special teams. It would have been a perfect day if we hadn't allowed Minnesota to convert on a fake punt. Riley Dixon, in my opinion, had his best day as a Bronco. 4 punts, a 54.3-yard punting average. That's really strong, along of a 68-yard punt. And then Will Lutz, he has been absolutely money for us. Really redeemed himself after that day in Buffalo. 5 for 5 on his field goals today. Big clutch kicks from Will Lutz, including a 52-yarder there. Again, got to shout out Will Lutz, responsible for 15 of our 21 points on the day. He really saved our ass there a couple of times. So, on the whole, Broncos country, this is a win where we definitely have some stuff to clean up, but we've won 4 games in a row. We're at 5-5. We are in position to really completely turn our season around from where we were at week 3, 70-20 loss to Miami. We thought that we were going to see a complete fire sale here in Denver, and now we're actually talking about playoffs here in the Mile High City. This team has toughness. This team has resilience. This team has guts. This team has all the qualities that you want to look for in terms of a team that has a shot to make the playoffs Denver is starting to check all of those boxes. All right, Broncos country, I am curious. How do you guys feel about tonight's win? Do you guys feel like this was a statement win for us, or do you guys, similar to how I feel like we were just kind of lucky to scrape by on this one? But regardless, guys, at the end of the day, we got the dub, and that's all that matters. Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support, helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country, just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.